together, young and old, we will sing together, together in one song. Come together from different worlds, we are drawn together. In our own way, we can pray together. Together we are strong. Come together, dreams and hands, we will join together to build a place we can grow together. Together we are home.
Let's take a moment. Take a deep breath, be present in this room. Let me say some words that could be like a prayer. Take a deep breath. As we continue to live through these days of Lent, we focus on what we can really, truly release and what we should embrace. Each day gives me a chance to observe the beliefs that I hold. Have I been telling myself I have a limited capacity for giving or receiving? Or do I have a habit of believing that I'm not enough? During this time of release, I shift attention away from outer concerns. I release any constrictive self-images. I let go of old perceptions that no longer are true for me, and I open my eyes to see my real essence. I am spirit in expression. Affirmations and prayers become my touch points that guide me to the light and love at the core of my being. I rest in the knowledge that my mind is one with divine mind. I am a radiating center of light and understanding. I release any thought of limitation. As a beloved child of God, I have access to understanding and clarity as I move through each day. And so it is.
I see God in you. You see God in me. One path, one vision, one family. Come together, heart and soul. Together in one song.
For the love of tree, she went out on a limb. For the love of the sea, she rocked the boat. For the love of the earth, she dug deeper. For the love of community, she mended fences. For the love of the stars, she let her light shine. For the love of spirit, she nurtured her soul. For the love of a good time, she sowed seeds of happiness. For the love of the goddess, she drew down the moon. For the love of nature, she made compost. For the love of a good meal, she gave thanks. For the love of family, she reconciled differences. For the love of creativity, she entertained a new possibility. For the love of her enemies, she suspended judgment. For the love of herself, she acknowledged her worth, and the world was richer for her.
I am as God created me, in the light, in the love, in the glory. I am as God created me, in the light, in the love, in the glory. I am as God created me, in the light, in the love, in the glory. I am as God created me, in the light, in the love, in the glory. I am as God created me, in the light, in the love, in the glory. I am as God created me, in the light, in the love, in the glory. I am as God created me, in the light, in the love, in the glory.
Good morning. Wow, we have a lot of new faces today. I'm so excited. We're going to have some fun. And we're getting ready to celebrate spring. So our YOUers are getting ready to go on their regional event rally next month. So paperwork is due today, and we're all excited. And I want to thank you again for all of your support in helping get these kids off to their events, because it's a lot of fun for them. And we have another YOU lock-in, so that's coming up in April as well. These high schoolers are going to take over the church again, and we'll try to put it back for you on a Sunday morning. And so please help me in blessing everyone.
Thank you for being our family. Thank you for being our friend. Thank you for blessing and teaching us. God bless you. Amen. In the light, in the love, in the glory of God I am.
All right, run along, you people. Have fun downstairs. As always, we thank our adult leaders for supporting our youth, because that's such a gift that they give. Good morning. Good morning. Guess what? It's spring. We made it. I know there's winter lovers, and that's good. It's okay. I love winter too, but I love when spring comes. I did some weeding yesterday in my garden, and it made me so happy. So here at Unity in Lynnwood, we like to welcome you all, and we like to use the phrase intentional welcome. What we want to convey by this is that every person is welcome, no matter where on your spiritual journey you might be. As a spiritual community, we know that what is sacred can't be contained with walls or words. All of us here arrive with a variety of life situations and circumstances. We come here because we have great value in companionship. We like companionship on our journey, whatever it is, and companionship which is non-judgmental, curious, respectful, and engaged. We come here speaking and seeking many languages of meaning: Christian and atheist, Buddhist, Jewish, Muslim, and agnostic. We come here with diverse outer identities from many cultures, genders, races, sexual orientations, nationalities, faith perspectives, affiliations, identities, ages, and abilities. We come here with shared values, values of love and acceptance, of diversity, of justice, of spiritual growth, and the worth and dignity of all. We come to experience our interdependence, but to touch strength together that we can't necessarily find alone. So whoever you are, whatever your story, we bid you welcome. We hope that our spiritual community will be a home for you in the tough moments of your life, times when you want to celebrate the joy of life's blessings, and sometimes when it's just another Sunday morning. So thank you for being here with us today, and I'm glad I'm here with you. So today's the fourth Sunday of the month, and your Board of Trustees, as usual, has generously provided hospitality. And the donations that you give for that hospitality go to Unity in Lynnwood's Building Fund. But today, there's a chili cook-off. I tasted them all. I had a preference. I'm not telling you what it was, but it was yummy. They were all good, but I had a preference. But you can vote with your little dollar votes. So you can get your chili. There's little cups with the numbers written on them so you remember which one is which. And then over to the side in the Friendship Hall, there is little glass containers where you can stick $1 or more if you really liked it and vote your preference for the chili. And the winners will be announced next week. So I know which one's going to win. One of the things that we place great importance on here at Unity in Lynnwood, and really in any faith tradition, is prayer. Prayer is important. I want to thank my dear friend, Ken Uri, for something he said last week, and I can't even repeat exactly what he said, but it freed me. I have a quote from Charles Fillmore, and I love what Charles Fillmore has to say, but it does not always roll easily off the tongue, nor is it sometimes easily understandable. So I thank you for saying that out loud, Ken, because I struggle with that sometimes. But, he has words of great wisdom. So I'll read it slowly because I have something good today. Charles Fillmore, co-founder of Unity, said, "A great number of things that you look on as realities are simply transient shadows that can be dissipated into nothingness by your telling them the truth as to their unreality." Isn't that a good one? That is a little bit easier to understand than some, but that was a really good one. So I love this because it reminds me that the things we see as true, things that we have believed about ourselves, about others, and about the world around us, are not necessarily real, or they're not true for us or true for others. When we find ourselves stuck in believing these things, prayer is a great way to move away or to let them fade. At Unity in Lynnwood, we use the term affirmative prayer to loosely define our conversations with Spirit. Affirmative prayer is a declaration that is the truth about God's creative and restorative power, active within all people and all situations. My prayer can be an affirmative thought in silence, or whispered words, or spoken aloud. Here at Unity in Lynnwood, we like to offer you many ways to walk through your prayer life, or we walk through with you. We offer many avenues for prayer support. We have prayer slips in the seat in front of you. It says prayer request. You can fill this out and put it in the offering basket when it comes around later. This will get lots of good prayer attention once you release it. Confidential prayer attention, but good prayer attention nonetheless. We have a hotline that you can call. We have one-on-one prayer with the prayer chaplains after service, which can be very, very worthwhile. So if you do have something you either have on your heart or even something you want to celebrate in prayer with a prayer chaplain, just come up to the sides of the sanctuary after service and one of them will welcome you back. You will know them by their beautiful purple stoles, and because I will ask them, please, if they would stand right now so we can say howdy to you and eyeball ya. Thank you. They're out in full force this service. Thank you for being here and for your service. We also use denials and affirmations to connect with Spirit. And denials and affirmations are short, powerful statements of truth spoken silently or audibly to our subconscious mind for the purpose of relaxing the soul and opening ourselves to the flow of divine ideas from Spirit. They are written in the present tense and spoken in a relaxed manner. A denial states the powerlessness or impermanence of a situation. and thereby prevents our subconscious mind from investing energy in a mistaken belief. An affirmation states the truth of a situation and thereby instructs our subconscious mind to focus attention on that which is true and permanent. So our denial and affirmation for today is up behind me. I'm going to say it once. You can hear it, listen, take it in with your heart. And then if you'd like to join me together in saying it, you can stand or just sit. We'll say it together. My life isn't mine alone. My life story includes all who will one day bask in the shades of tree, or the shade of trees planted by my hand. Isn't that lovely? So, if you'd like to join me, we'll say that together. My life story isn't mine alone. My life story includes all who will one day bask in the shade of trees planted by my hand. And some of those baskers are around you, so would you like to say hi to people for a minute?
Look at you dance, Unity in Lynnwood. Wow, that's something. Good morning, Unity in Lynnwood. And good morning, Unity in Lynnwood. And good morning, Unity in Lynnwood. What was your number? You are seriously not disclosing your chili number.
That's not fair.
Is it between 1 and 6? Is it between 2 and 5?
Careful. It's an odd number.
Well, that.
I didn't say it was an odd number, it was an odd.
You saw where she put it? Oh. Don't what? don't make you use all your brain power too soon. Thank you, Linda B. Good morning. How's your chili this morning, Mr. Brooks? Did it turn out? I hope so. I mean, mine was stunning. And I don't mind saying that mine, well, is an odd number. Small group ministry. We have a number of offerings in support of you, including a new one called a Caregivers Support Group. For all who care and support others, please come. Enjoy the care of others. Enjoy the support of others. That will begin, I believe, next month. Karen Anderson, are you in the room? Karen Anderson will be facilitating that group. Thank you for doing that. Next Sunday at 9 o'clock a.m., students of Myrtle meet downstairs. It is facilitated by licensed Unity teacher Karen Breen James. So show up at 9 o'clock. Talk Myrtle. Come to the 11 o'clock service. I mean, there won't be chili. And if you would like to become a member of this evolving, unfolding idea we call Unity in Lynnwood, membership weekend is nigh. On the 7th of April, following both services, join someone who looks important for an experience called The Basics of Unity. Understand the history of this movement, the 5 tenets upon which most people agree most of the time. Tell me you heard that as well, please. Woo, good. That'll be followed by a Friday evening reception. You will be introduced to your board of trustees, to your staff, to other joining members, and to key leaders. That will be followed on the following Sunday, that is the 14th, with a ritual as part of the service of your choice. Applications, certain to be approved, by the way. Applications are available at the Welcome and Information Station. Adult Education, the 12 Powers. It is a core Unity teaching. It's been written that the teaching and practice of the 12 Powers includes awareness of power centers in the body, similar to the chakra system in yoga. The system connects the power centers to spiritual qualities associated with the 12 disciples. Explore and experientially apply the 12 power system as a way of realizing and releasing your inner divinity. Richard Held facilitates. Between 1 and, okay. It was in 1857 that the U.S. Supreme Court ruled to deny citizenship and constitutional rights to black people, formally designating a race as, and I quote, subordinate and inferior. It was in 1863 that Lincoln freed the slaves. In 1865 that slavery was abolished. In 1868 that due process and equal protections were expressly extended to include African Americans. And in 1870 that the right to vote was guaranteed. It was in 1875 that African Americans were granted equal access to public accommodations. In 1896, that a Louisiana statute mandating separate but equal railroad cars was upheld. And in 1954, you understand that's 58 years later, in 1954, that public school segregation was ruled unconstitutional. It was in 1955 that 14-year-old Emmett Till was kidnapped. He was beaten. He was shot. He was dumped in the Tallahatchie rivers for allegedly whistling at a white woman. 2 white men were acquitted by an all-white jury, only to boast about the murder in a magazine interview shortly thereafter. It was in the same year that Rosa Parks refused to relinquish that seat, sparking a bus boycott that lasted over a year in Montgomery, Alabama. It was in 1957 that the Southern Christian Leadership Conference was established with Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. as its first president. And it was in that same year that the Little Rock Nine were blocked from entering that formerly white school in Arkansas. It was in 1960 that 4 African-American students quietly took seats at a lunch counter in a Woolworth's in Greensboro, North Carolina. It was in that same year that Kennedy issued an executive order prohibiting discrimination in federal government hiring. It was in 1962 that James Meredith became the first African-American student to enroll at the University of Mississippi. It was in 1963 that over 250,000 people marched to the Lincoln Memorial to be enrolled in King's Dream. It was in 1964 that the Mississippi Freedom Summer Project was organized to facilitate a voter registration program in that state. And it was in the same year that President Johnson signed the most sweeping civil rights legislation since Reconstruction. It was in 1965 that African Americans launched a march in support of voting equality, only to be stopped at the Edmund Pettus Bridge in Selma, Alabama, by state troopers and the Dallas County Sheriff's Department. In the presence of the news media, the lawmen attacked these peaceful demonstrators with clubs, with tear gas, with billy clubs, whips, sparking demonstrations in 80 cities within 48 hours. Thousands arrived in Selma, including Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., who led a group to that same bridge where they knelt together and where they prayed together. The date was March 9th. On March 21st, Dr. King assumed his post at a pinnacle moment of over 100 years of history. Shoulder to shoulder with some 25,000 marchers and a federalized National Guard at Brown Chapel, where he said, you will be the people who will light a new chapter in the history of our nation. Walk together and don't get weary. And it will lead us to that promised land, at which point 2 of his youngest supporters, an 8-year-old and a 9-year-old, began to sing. And his voices joined to become a rousing chorus. He renewed that march, shoulder to shoulder with rabbis, with ministers, with nuns, with teachers, professors, and students, with politicians, labor leaders, and Nobel Peace Prize winners, with actors, with musicians, with civil rights icons. He renewed that march shoulder to shoulder with Joe Young of Georgia, though Joe was blind, with Jim Heatherer of Michigan, though he was on crutches, with John Lewis, Hosea Williams, Amelia Boynton, and Annie Cooper, though all 4 had been bloodied on that bridge. And within days, the marchers arrived at a makeshift campsite on a rain-soaked playing field at St. Jude in Montgomery, Alabama, where a flatbed trailer would become the makeshift stage for an impromptu performance organized by Harry Belafonte and featuring Leonard Bernstein, Sammy Davis Jr., Mahalia Jackson, Tony Bennett, Pete Seeger, Nina Simone, Joan Baez, Peter, Paul, and Mary, all united in their support for voter equality. The date for this Stars for Freedom rally, of course, was this date in history, March 24th, and the music, oh, the music rang on well into the night.
this morning with my mind stayed on freedom. Well, I woke up this morning with my mind stayed on the Lord. I woke up this morning with my mind stayed on freedom. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. I woke up this morning with my mind stayed on freedom. Well, I woke up this morning with my mind stayed on the Lord. Woke up this morning with my mind stayed on freedom. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. I woke up this morning with my mind stayed on freedom. Well, I woke up this morning with my mind stayed on the Lord. I woke up this morning with my mind stayed on freedom. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah.
The marchers continued to the Alabama state capitol where King began, and I quote, he said, "Today I want to tell the city of Selma, I'd like to say to the state of Alabama, I'd like to say to the people of America, to the people of all nations, that we are not about to turn around. No wave of racism can stop us. The burning of our churches will not deter us. The bombing of our homes will not dissuade us. The beating and killing of our clergy and our young people will not divert us. The wanton release of their known murderers would not discourage us like an idea whose time has come. Not even the marching of mighty armies can halt us. Let us therefore continue our triumphant march to the realization of the American dream. Let us march on segregated housing. Let us march on segregated schools. Let us march on poverty until no American parent has to skip a meal so that their children may eat. Let us march on ballot boxes until race baiters disappear from the political arena. Let us march on ballot boxes until the salient misdeeds of bloodthirsty mobs will be transformed into the calculated good deeds of orderly citizens. Let us march on ballot boxes until the Wallaces of our nation tremble away in silence. Let us march on ballot boxes until we send to our city councils, to our state legislatures, and the United States Congress men and women who will not fear to do justly, to love mercy, and to walk humbly. Let us march on ballot boxes until brotherhood becomes more than a meaningless word in an opening prayer, but the order of the day on every legislative agenda. Let us march on ballot boxes until all over Alabama, God's children will be able to walk the earth in decency, in honor. There are no broad highways that lead us easily and inevitably to quick solutions, but we must keep going. There is a cry today, when will Martin Luther King get out of our community and let Alabama return to normalcy? But I have a message that I would leave with Alabama this evening. That is exactly what we will not allow to to happen, for we know that it was normalcy in Marion that led to the brutal murder of Jimmy Lee Jackson. It was normalcy in Birmingham that led to the murder of 4 beautiful, unoffending, innocent girls. It was normalcy on Highway 80 that led to tear gas and horses and billy clubs against unarmed human beings. And it was normalcy in Selma, Alabama that led to the brutal beating of Reverend James Reeb. It is normalcy all over our country, which leaves the African American perishing on the lonely island of poverty in the midst of a vast ocean of material prosperity. And it is normalcy all over Alabama that prevents the African American from becoming a registered voter. So no, we will not allow Alabama to return to normalcy. The only normalcy that we will settle for is the normalcy that recognizes the dignity and the worth of all of God's creation. The only normalcy that we will settle for is the normalcy of brotherhood, the normalcy of true peace, the normalcy of justice. We must come to see that the end we seek is a society at peace with itself. And that will be a day not of the white man. That will be a day not of the black man. That will simply be a day of man as man.
Ancient eyes are watching in the night. The stars come out to guide the way. The sun still shines despite the clouds. And the dawn is dusk, is dawn is dusk, is day. Farmers rise and dream to feed the world. The world awakes to feed the heart. Hearts beat while 1,000 flags are waving. And the farmer sees a dream has played a part. We will have peace. We will because we must. We must because we cherish life. And believe it or not, as daring as it may seem, it is not an empty dream to walk in a powerful path. Neither the first nor the last great peace march. Life is a great and mighty march. Forever for love and for life on the great peace march. Are you black like night or red like clay? Are you gold like sun or brown like earth? Gray like mist or white like moon? My love for you is the reason for my birth. Peace can start with just one heart. From a small step to leaps and bounds, a walk becomes a race for time, and a brave child calls out from the crowd. We will have peace. We will because we must. We must because we cherish life. And believe it or not, As daring as it may seem, it is not an empty dream to walk in a powerful path. Neither the first nor the last great peace march. Life is a great and mighty march, forever for love and for life on the great peace march. As daring as it may seem, it is not an empty dream to walk in a powerful path. Neither the first nor the last great peace march. Life is a great and mighty march, forever for love and for life on the great peace march. Forever for love and for life on the great peace march.
The Lenten season is a church construct, setting forth a 40-day period before Easter. This construct mirrors a biblical history in which it required 40 days and 40 nights for the earth to be purified, in which it required 40 days in the desert for Elijah to escape the evil queen, in which it required 40 years in the desert for the emancipated slaves to become a unified nation, in which it required 40 days on the mountain for their emancipator, Moses, to realize those so-called 10 commandments. It mirrors a biblical history in which it required 40 days in the wilderness for Jesus to launch his public ministry. And what we know is that 40 wasn't written as a precise measure in the minds of yesterday's writers, so it mustn't be read as a precise measure in the minds of today's readers. So in navigating such a shift, I suggest that each of these journeys of 40 demonstrate what it takes to get from old life to new life. So for all who find themselves on a journey of 40, and we've all navigated journeys through what it takes to get from old life to new life. So for all who find themselves on a journey of 40, it seems to me that there comes a time, see if this speaks to you. It seems to me that there comes a time at which the hero will have to leave home. And for all who find themselves on a journey of 40, it seems to me that there comes a time at which the hero will have to keep walking. And for all who find themselves on a journey of 40, it seems to me that there comes a time at which the hero will have to become new. Dr. King said, the only normalcy that we will settle for is the normalcy that recognizes the dignity and the worth of all God's creation.
We shall overcome. We shall overcome. We shall overcome someday. Oh, dear.
ultimately, for all who find themselves on a journey of 40, it seems to me that there comes a time at which every hero will have to pass the torch. Dr. King said it this way: you will be the people who will light a new chapter in the history of our nation. So walk together, walk together. Don't get weary, and it will lead us to that promised land.
We'll walk hand in hand. We'll walk hand in hand. We'll walk hand in hand someday. Oh, deep in my heart, I do believe we shall overcome someday.
And in conclusion, Dr. King offers words of comfort. Somebody's asking, how long will prejudice blind the visions of men, darken their understanding, and drive bright-eyed wisdom from her sacred throne? Somebody's asking, when will wounded justice lying prostrate on the streets of Selma and Birmingham and communities all over the South be lifted from this dust of shame to reign supreme among the children of men? Somebody's asking, when will the radiant star of hope be plunged against the nocturnal bosom of this lonely night, plucked from weary souls with chains of fear and the manacles of death? How long will justice be crucified and truth bear it? I come to say to you this afternoon, however difficult the moment, however frustrating the hour, it will not be long, because truth crushed to the earth will rise again. How long, he concludes? Not long, because no lie can live forever. How long, he concludes? Oh, not long.
Stayed on freedom. Woke up this morning with my mind. Stayed on the Lord. Woke up this morning with my mind. Stayed on freedom. Hallelujah. 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 I woke up this morning with my mind. Stayed on freedom. Well, I woke up this morning with my mind. Stayed on the Lord. I woke up this morning with my mind. Stayed on freedom. Hallelujah. 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 I woke up this morning with my mind. Stayed on freedom. Well, I woke up this morning with my mind. Stayed on the Lord. I woke up this morning with my mind. Stayed on freedom. Hallelujah. 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 I woke up this morning with my mind. Stayed on freedom. Well, I woke up this morning with my mind. Stayed on the Lord. I woke up this morning with my mind. Stayed on freedom.
Just got churched. This is one of those moments where it's really hard to be up here because that was so good. Thank you, all of you. Thank you. And thank you to Dr. King and everyone that walks the walk. So, now is the time that we come together to share our tithes and our love offerings. When teaching about giving, Charles Fillmore wrote, "Practice giving, even though it be in a small way. Give in love. Give when you cannot see any possibility of return. Give your real substance, the substance of the heart, with every possible token, whether it be money or whatever you choose, and through the power of your word, bless and spiritually multiply everything you give."
Blessed always, blessed always, for the arms of God surround us. Let our joy be so triumphant that we rest in God and say amen. Blessed always, blessed always, for the arms of God surround us. Let our joy be so triumphant that we rest in God and say amen. Blessed always, blessed always, for the arms of God surround us. Let our joy be so triumphant that we rest in God and say amen.
If you would join me in saying our offering affirmation, God is my source. God is our source. And that source supports the evolving, unfolding, soul-stirring idea that is unity in Lynnwood in miraculous ways. Thank you. And we also want to acknowledge our gratitude to our online community who is with us here today for your donations made through our live stream and our website. Wow. Yeah, right? You gotta breathe. That was so good. So I'm so grateful that I can be up here to welcome anyone who's new here or newish. Because if you'd like to learn more about Unity or Unity in Lynnwood, we have information for you. There's a newcomer's information card in the seat in front of you that you can take with you. Gives you some information on our spiritual community. We are spiritually community too, but anyway, there's also a stay in touch card that you can fill out with your information and give to anyone with a name tag. If you would like to get on our email mailing list, you get about 2 emails a month. We don't give that information out to anyone else. I do want you to know, if you haven't ever seen one, there is a newcomer's information packet in the information packet holder as you exit the door to the left that you can take with you as well. We like to welcome you. We like to consider ourselves a community of intentional welcome, as we've mentioned. And so we do like to say hi to anyone who's been here or who is here with us for the first time, so we can connect with you and say hello. So if you don't mind raising your hand if this is your first time with us, we would like to give you a quick round of applause, if you're cool with that. Anyone today? Thank you. Thank you for joining us, and please feel free to join us in the Friendship Hall for odd-numbered chili. No, the even numbers chilies are really good, too. They're really good. No, I'm not doing it. Oh, I could say something, and I'm not going to. Anyway, chili, friendship, community, wonderful people. So, as always, I wanted to mention that details and information and registration on anything that's going on here you can find at the Welcome and Information Station in the back of our sanctuary. If you don't think you can find it, it says Welcome and Information right above it. Today's beautiful flowers are dedicated by Nadine Carter, saying, "Happy birthday, Roger Berg." Roger was here first service. And if you'd like to offer a dedication, register in the gift shop for as little as $10. What a deal. And they're so beautiful. Have you ever considered running for the Board of Trustees of this spiritual community? Have you ever wondered exactly what do these people do besides cook chili? Bring your best questions and enjoy casual conversation with Unity in Lynnwood's trustees today following the 11 o'clock service, which is now, after you get your chili and vote. All are welcome if you ever have any questions and think that might be in your future. Join us on Saturday, March 30th at 7 p.m. for our 3rd annual Unity in Lynnwood On Stage. Cheer your spiritual community on as they express their many talents. The Health and Wellness Ministry presents Qigong, offered on 4 Saturdays beginning April 6th. This ancient health care system integrates movements and breathing to bring revitalization and balance to the body, mind, and spirit. This class is geared for beginners and led by Anila Goldie. Thank you so much for that. Mark your calendars for Grammy-nominated songwriters, singers, authors, and TEDx presenters Karen Taylor Good and Stowe Daly in concert on Sunday, April 7th at 5:30 p.m. They're awesome. Don't miss it. And join in the fun of sprucing up Unity in Lynnwood's grounds on Saturday, April 13th at 9 a.m. Bring gloves and garden tools. Lunch will be provided. Get your tickets for Metamorphosis on Saturday, April 13th. Metamorphosis is happening on Saturday, April 13th. You can get your tickets before that. Join Unity in Lynnwood's resident chamber ensemble, Bella, and pianist Lee Tan-Soo as they explore the concept of transformation featuring female composers. Tickets are $25 general admission or $20 for students and seniors. Purchased through our website, our Unity in Lynnwood app, or through eventbrite.com. And finally, early bird registration for the Northwest Region of Unity Church's annual conference this September in Eugene, Oregon is now open. The conference keynote teachers are Rabbi Ted Falcon and Dr. Richard Loren Held, and the conference includes a dinner with others experience. Yeah, give it up. 2 very special human beings. Registration is limited to the first 60. All good things happening at Unity in Lynnwood can be found on your app. If you don't have it, get it. It's cool. In your printed program or by visiting our Facebook page or the calendar page of our website at unityinlynnwood.org.
Lavon Harrison will be with us next week. This is her first time at Unity in Lynnwood. She's an area jazz singer, and she's fantastic. So we're in for a treat. And if you would like to be in the Easter choir, rehearsals start next Sunday, and there is a postcard in the back with the schedule. So please join us for that. If you'll join me, we'll sing our peace song. Let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God as creator, united all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect
All right, Unity in Lynnwood, if there's a first name of any soul you'd like to introduce into this consciousness of love and support, just speak that name now, please. So whether spoken with the human tongue or the human heart, it matters not. To all who have turned anything of a spiritual ear, to all who have turned anything of a spiritual receptivity to this conversation, we stand in all that we know God to be. No matter the status of your journey of 40, we stand together firmly placed in our awareness of a wisdom that is ample, in our awareness of a love always, always ample. We stand firmly in our awareness of a sufficiency to any apparent need. We stand firmly in our awareness of life itself, life from which each of us emanates, life, capital L life, in which we find each other. We are indeed one. We stand in these deep waters on your behalf. We tarry not with the shallow waters of effect, but we stand in all that we know God is. This is our work in prayer. This is our position in consciousness. This is the gift we give. This is the conversation we invite. And so with great faith and boldness then, we lift our voices together and speak these closing words of benediction. There is one power and one presence in, through, and around all creation. So we go forth as the eyes of divine love, as the tongues of divine wisdom, as the hands of divine sufficiency, and the bold and ready hearts of divine life. Blessings, Unity in Lynnwood.